On the 18th of February 2010, Joseph Andrew Stack flew his single-engined airplane into a 7-storey building in northwest Texas. The building housed an office of the Inland Revenue Service, or IRS, along with several other tenants. According to a statement he posted on the internet before taking off on his suicide flight, Stack intentionally targeted the IRS due to a long history of problems he'd had with the agency. Stack's use of violence to attempt to foster an uprising against the government and to alter government policy means that his attack against the IRS building was an act of domestic terrorism. While Stack's attack ultimately failed to attain its goal, he did succeed in killing himself and one other and injuring some 13 other people. Stack had removed some of the seats from his aircraft and loaded a drum of aviation fuel inside the passenger compartment of his plane. Post-crash analysis concluded that Stack's aircraft struck a concrete slab between floors and as a result prevented deeper penetration of the building, reducing the damage and casualties that may have occurred. During an independent review of the UK's terrorism legislation, Lord Carlisle said that general and business aviation should become the eyes and ears of the police and other agencies when it comes to protecting the UK from possible terrorism and other security breaches. General aviation could be utilised either for the transportation of illicit material or individuals, or as we've already mentioned, a weapon in its own right. General aviation is often looked on as the domain of the rich and famous and used for mainly leisure purposes. This, however, is a false representation. GA covers a huge range of aircraft and pursuits ranging from high-value business aircraft to hang gliders and paragliders. In a review of GA in 2005, it was estimated to be worth £1.4 billion in direct economic contribution, putting it on equal footing with companies such as Virgin Atlantic, and it was shown to employ over 11,000 people in the UK. Remote airfields with little security provide the possible means by which large amounts of goods could be flown from outside the United Kingdom with minimum notice or risk. The police, United Kingdom Border Agency and the Serious Organised Crime Agency realised that general aviation security had to be improved in order to strengthen our borders. Working as a joint enforcement team, these three organisations ensure that any terrorist or criminal looking to utilise these environments had little or no opportunity to further promote their aims or unlawful activity. Project Pegasus is a joint agency initiative focused on countering threats to the UK border from serious and organised crime and terrorism. Project Pegasus will deliver an enhanced counter-terrorism, serious and organised crime vigilance capability within the general aviation community. The local police, together with other agencies, look to involve the key stakeholders and the local communities in order to provide a hostile environment to anyone looking to disrupt the everyday lives of those who live and work or travel through these areas. When you consider just how many possible targets or locations that offer possibilities to either terrorists or criminals, the task of keeping them safe is a mammoth one. One of the keys to the ongoing success of this project, however, is making the general aviation community aware of the threat. Each force has a designated telephone number that members of the public can ring in order to report anything suspicious. Appropriate resources can then be utilised depending on the information given. It's almost impossible to say what a terrorist may look like. Indeed, in the ongoing fight against terrorism, the key is to expect the unexpected. For example, picture in your mind what you'd expect a terrorist to look like. Most people would probably picture something like this. What you may not have considered is that the terrorist could look like this. This is Muriel de Goch. She was the first European suicide bomber in history. Equally, it's difficult to quantify suspicious behaviour, but an individual's activities or manner can become suspicious in the context of the location they're in. Similarly, those who regularly live, work or relax in a particular environment may be concerned by the presence of an unexpected or unusual aircraft arriving at an airfield or aerodrome. People enrolled on flying lessons showing interest in only certain areas of controlling the aircraft or one particular feature of the landscape. The police, UK Border Agency and Serious and Organised Crime Agency have a duty to protect the public and to proactively prevent crime, particularly in vulnerable areas such as airfields and aerodromes. One of the methods in which this is achieved is by the inspection or examination of general aviation flights under the Terrorism Act, Customs and Excise and Management Act, the Immigration Act or the Air Navigation Order. Under one of these pieces of legislation, you may be approached by an officer either on departure or arrival, and any member of the crew or passengers may be required to answer questions. This may also include a search or the production of documentation for a person or the aircraft. In addition to terrorism, there are other offences which can affect our aviation community and the wider general public, including human trafficking, drug smuggling and even endangering the safety of an aircraft in flight. But by working together, we can reduce these types of offences significantly. We can't emphasise enough just how important it is for members of the public to report anything they deem to be suspicious. It may well be that your call initiates action or corroborates information from other sources. If you see something that you aren't happy with, tell us straight away. With everyone in the aviation community being our eyes and ears and reporting any behaviour they see as out of the ordinary or suspicious, we become a formidable force against crime and terrorism.